Welcome to In the News. These are your hosts, Dush. You want
It's
to
your
introduce
boy.
yourself? Matt,
I
I'm
mean, now that he
Bandit.
already said his name.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I mean, I already used my name. Might as well keep
yeah.
going.
I'm Bandit. Screw it. You can just call me Ryan if you want, I guess, since we're all just using our first names. This is In the News. Think we're just going to start off with Ukraine, right?
Yeah, we're just gonna start off with Ukraine then. You're the
Yeah,
expert here, so
I'm
take it away.
the Ukraine junkie here. I guess. Well, I mean, I think a lot it's mostly stayed the same, but a lot has definitely changed since our last um, meeting where we discussed Ukraine. I mean, as of this morning, the Ukrainian government is accusing Russia of putting out bomb threats to sow panic within Ukraine. And it looks like both sides are basically we're on the last stretch here, I think, of diplomatic efforts. The end stretch. It looks like both sides have kind of presented their last kind of this is what we want you to do. Looks like both sides don't expect either side to accept. I think as of an hour ago, Bloomberg actually had released a statement saying that the State Department is weighing whether to evacuate the family members of diplomats stationed in Ukraine. Apparently,
You're still weighing that?
um,
That should have been the first thing they did
yes,
last week.
they're arguing. There's also still, I believe, they're also weighing. There is a Florida National Guard regiment, something like that. Some Florida National Guard members are in Ukraine, I think, on training as
Florida
well.
man.
Florida man's gonna save Ukraine.
Yes, single handedly. So it looks like we're on the last stretch. I would say I used to say I'm going to say, in my personal opinion, I will put chances of a full Russian invasion of Ukraine by mid to late February. I would say, in my opinion, about 80 to 85% chance of that happening as of
Mm,
now. Because
okay.
now I believe Russia also has a significant more amount. They did have some, but they've also now shipping in their short-range ballistic missile systems, the Iskander missile system they have set up. So I assume there will be a significant breakout of conflict, I think.
I don't know much about how the Russian government works. Is this just like all Putin's doing, or did the parliament like issue a declaration of war?
There,
Well, do you want the
it's
official or do you want
yeah, it's
do you want the official or the unofficial answer here?
Both.
yeah, I would say officially, I think it's basically Putin's doing on both parts because I think he's still using. You know how we have like the War Powers Act where the president can kind of like do whatever as long as like we're attacked, and it's kind of vague.
Yeah.
Like they have the same thing over there. I'm pretty sure. So like Putin kind of has vague powers to activate the military, especially in the case of where it seems like they're going to do a false flag attack. What some intel is coming out is what they're saying.
Operation Northwoods. It's
Yeah,
happening.
so they may do it, and I assume that the conflict will be a whole thing because this will be like one of the first modern, apart from Crimea, major conflicts in like an urbanized area. I'd say, 85%. I'd say Ukraine will probably last without any help from the outside. What it looks like,
Yeah.
max 5 weeks. I would
I,
assume
I
there'd
don't think they're
be
going to get outside help.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, they're
So
not.
like anywhere from 2 to 5 weeks is my guess, and I'm gonna say that there's gonna be within even the first couple hours there will be a significant amount of casualties, both civilian and military.
Yeah. So how far in do you think if Russia were to invade? Like full on invasion, just throwing all the cards on the table. How far into Ukraine do you think they'll go? To the
Hard. I mean, they could do several things from my guess. Either they can take it all,
Okay.
which is like seems to be the most likely because of their amassing force in Belarus as well.
Right.
Um, which would make sense if they're going to go for the west as well, because I think more western border there in circumventing the I can never pronounce it, Dnieper River or the Dnieper River.
Dnipro.
Dnieper. Yeah, I would say best scenario for Ukraine is that Russia just wants everything east of the Dnieper River
Dnipro.
and
Yeah.
just takes Dnieper River, and they just take everything east of that and
Yeah.
call it a day. I
Honestly,
don't know if they take direct control or that they would let the Russian separatist movement set up like a party or something. in control. I'm not sure because they might just take the East, or they might take it all and set up a puppet government.
Yeah, honestly, the way I see it, it's just they're going through all this trouble. Whether they if they take half of Ukraine, they're gonna get hit with everything the EU and the US are willing to throw at them. At that point, might as well just take the whole thing and just call it a day. Like, just get the whole thing over with.
Yeah, they probably will, and that puts them on a position bordering like God. Yeah, that's why Romania, Bulgaria,
Poland,
Moldova.
Poland's very worried. Same for Sweden. Sweden's actually taking a lot of
Oh, Sweden is
risk.
probably one of the ones that might actually significantly help. I know they're like pledging
Yeah, they're
to
pledging, but they're
aid.
also the island of Gotland, like the big island they got in the Baltic Sea. They're beefing that up the military
Oh
presence there
yeah,
because the Russians, they've I forgot where they put. I think it's Kaliningrad. They've taken like landing troop ships. So the Swedes
maybe
are worried that they might try to take the island of Gotland from them if they
they've
were.
they've wanted those. Yeah, the Russians want those islands bad. They want to take back all
Their former
their
Soviet
quote
lands.
rightful land. They believe, I think, because they had Ukraine. Their argument is like, we had this land during the Russian Empire and the USSR, and Russia
Right.
views themselves obviously as the direct successor, especially
Well,
since their leader is a former KGB
yeah. Well, I think the island
agent.
of Gotland would be more of a strategic slash security objective than a we're claiming what's ours type of
Yeah, that also. They want to be in a position where they
where they feel
don't.
respected.
Yeah, they don't want to be at a neither side wants to be at a disadvantage to the other.
Right. But Russia right now is definitely feeling disadvantaged, and they want to sort of
Oh yeah,
compensate for that disadvantaged feeling.
definitely
Yeah. Right now, I think if Putin's gonna make a big move on Ukraine, honestly, this time right now is the best time because
makes sense. I think.
there's weakness in the U.S. because Biden is just we don't even have to worry. We don't have to talk about Biden for people to understand how bad that is here in the U.S. Then there's the EU, and really there's no leader in the EU right now since Merkel left.
The EU's Germany's doing. Yeah, Germany's
Yeah,
doing bad anyways. They're refusing to help at all. We're forced. All the flights that shipping equipment are forced to reroute around Germany because Germany won't let them use their airspace for Ukrainian equipment.
really? I thought they said that wasn't that actually didn't happen.
From what I'm seeing, it looks like British flights are still rerouting around Germany.
Interesting.
And I
Well,
wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised because I think that the current German government is. I don't know. They seem to be. I mean, currently it's the SPD that's in control, and their foreign policy is. I don't know. I mean, they've only
yeah,
been in power for a couple months by now, so it's hard to tell. But I think they're definitely not caring as much as Ukraine, especially since Biden lifted the sanction on the gas line, the oil pipeline deal, which is very lucrative, and I doubt they want to sabotage that. Biden just
yeah,
lifted the sanctions on that, and that's going to be pretty lucrative.
yeah. The thing about Germany's like a wild card here. They could really side with the West and help NATO and all their thing, but it doesn't really seem like they're willing to. It seems like they're willing to do more of a slap on the wrist type of
Yeah,
response.
I think it does.
And
It definitely doesn't. Yeah, it definitely doesn't really help them because they're surrounded by countries that aren't that won't be happy with that.
yeah, they're especially Poland and
Oh yeah,
Poland.
Poland's is gonna.
Keep in mind, this is all going on at the same time that both France and Germany are talking about really consolidating the EU into like a more United States type of political entity.
Yeah,
Because I know Macron has been wanting to do it, but the real major roadblock to that has always been Merkel, because she hasn't really supported that. But the new German chancellor, he supports that. He wants that. He might actually be more radical than Macron is for that stuff.
yeah. I don't know if it would really work because I think they'd really be the only two countries in the EU that would support that kind of full integration. Because
Right.
Hungary's not going to support it.
But
Poland's not going to support
Eastern
it.
Europe would never support that,
Yeah,
especially
I
after
don't know
what.
if Italy. I don't think Italy would support it.
Yeah, yeah, especially after what they're seeing, like the way Germany's handling this whole situation. There's no way possible for these Eastern European countries to throw away their sovereignty, their right to defense, just to let some German chancellor negotiate with Russia to take mile by mile, essentially.
Yeah. Say, Dush, what do you think of
Yeah, you've
this?
been real quiet about this whole stuff.
Honestly, I don't really know much about the Ukraine and Russia situation, which
Okay.
is why I'm not saying anything. But from what I do know, Russia's just like being cringe and trying to get land for some reason, and everybody else is kind of like standing out of the way. I know for the EU situation, like Russia kind of they supply them energy or something that the EU needs.
Yeah,
So
natural
like if
gas.
Yeah,
the EU tried to
oil. Yeah,
stand up
natural
against them, they
gas.
could just like withhold it. And then there's us. But I guess Biden and he doesn't really want to get aggressive with anybody right now. So they're kind of really like their only option is to just hold on their own. Like this is
Yeah.
this is the consequence of not being a part of any international alliance when you're a small country.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well, this
mean,
Like
came. Yeah, it was complicated because NATO didn't really want to let Ukraine in. It was a very iffy
yeah,
situation.
yeah. No, yeah. Ukraine wanted to join NATO back in, I forgot what year it was. I think it was like 2014 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. They wanted to join, but essentially Russia got really upset and essentially bullied NATO into saying no.
that should have been a red
And,
flag.
Yeah, that should have been a red flag, and I think that's also the time they took Crimea, wasn't it? Right?
yeah.
It was around the same time they took Crimea, so they definitely wanted to join NATO, but Russia pretty much said no for them and NATO at the same time. And ever since
Yeah.
then, they kind of put they put this hold on that idea, and now they're dealing with the consequences of not really going through with it.
Yeah, it's they're not gonna have a fun time. They're screwed.
They are,
That's I'm just gonna say they're screwed. They're
yeah,
not gonna nobody's helping them, they're done. They cannot stand up to Russia.
yeah. Also, I know Putin. He's getting old, and he's in that time frame where you're starting to worry about your legacy. Like, what are people going to remember Putin for?
He's getting into the dementia range.
Right. Well, the Biden stance, the Biden time frame. But yeah, he's worrying. He's if he's not worried about, he's definitely thinking about what are people going to remember him for as a Russian leader. And I mean, I don't see him shying away from the whole "I reconquered Ukraine" for the Russian people. Because he
Oh yeah,
wants.
definitely.
Because I feel like he said that he wanted to be remembered as sort of like a Peter the Great type of figure for Russia, and you can't get a legacy like that without taking some kind of land for Russia. And I feel like this might be his plan to get that.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, we're definitely going to see an interesting uptick in general hostilities around the world after this because I think
Yeah,
then China might try push, not necessarily try pushing, but they'll definitely poke the U.S. I think a lot of our foreign adversaries will begin to poke us to see how we'll act on other territories.
yeah, they'll be getting a little more ballsy. Iran will
Yeah,
be a little more ballsy with Israel, China with
yeah.
Taiwan.
I'd say, yeah, in terms of domestic policy, kind of relating to this, and I said this when Biden got elected too. This is just like Jimmy Carter. He's getting
Yeah,
Jimmy Cartered.
I
He
mean,
is not
Jimmy
having
Carter
fun.
only had to worry about Iran. Biden's just already just horrifically handled Afghanistan.
Well,
Now
that
he's
was a
going
mess
to deal
too.
with Ukraine, basically becoming a Russian puppet
Yeah,
at
yeah.
this point.
Just like domestic, if we go to domestic really quick, Biden is just having. He is in a position where if this disaster happens now, he's had no time to recover from the Afghanistan incident.
Yeah.
His polling is gonna drop even further. Like it's not
Well,
gonna be good for him.
yeah, the latest poll I saw out of the Trafalgar Group, which is a relatively new pollster, I think they started back in 2016, but they've repeatedly been pretty accurate with elections since then, with like a few minor hiccups. But they're showing Republicans up by 14 points nationwide. That's a bigger rate. That's a bigger red wave than I think 2010.
Yeah, I think I would put the chances of Republicans taking back the House at like I would say like 60 to 70% chance off the top of my head is my guess.
No, for me it's a
Um,
guaranteed. Republicans are going to win.
It is a definite. They're getting the
it's
house back.
definite.
Done deal. There's no way the Democrats are going to
Yeah,
hold.
and then the Senate, I assume they're gonna get it back with like 51 or something.
honestly, if Republicans really have a 14-point lead on the Democrats, they might even be able to flip states like Washington at this point.
That'd be.
I think honestly, at this point, the worst case scenario for the Republicans is getting the House back and getting like 51 seats. Like at
Yeah,
their best, they could probably get like 56, 57.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
No, yeah, it's definitely looking like it's going to be that kind of election year.
That would
But
be the
knowing the
massive.
GOP, they're going to drop the ball somewhere. I don't know where, but they're going to drop the ball somewhere.
Yeah, they're gonna rerun Kelly Loeffler in Georgia. Watch her lose again.
Isn't it? Who are they running? David Perdue, right?
Purdue's running for governor in Georgia, which it seems like he's
Governor. Oh
doing
yeah, he's
pretty
running
well.
against Abrams.
You know,
Yes.
and in New Hampshire, they could have ran Chris Newsnew. Like
Sununu,
you know,
yeah.
they had that one
Sununu.
Dem senator who's running for re-election,
Yeah.
and in every single poll she wins except for the ones where Chris Newsom runs against her. So if he would have ran, they could have easily got that seat. But he's running for re-election to the governor.
Is he
Hell.
really? I didn't know he. I thought
Yeah,
I
well.
never
Yeah,
saw him.
he just came out like yesterday and said he's going to run for re-election and he won't run for
Oh.
Senate.
Well,
Okay.
essentially, all right. Well, the Republicans just won New Hampshire for governorship because that guy's super popular there.
That'd be an easy win for Senate for him if he won, because wasn't it like a set? He was like 20 points ahead.
Yeah,
Oh,
they didn't like different polls, and he was the only person that actually managed to beat the Democrat in the race. Like it would have
Yeah.
been a guaranteed if he ran.
No, yeah, he's so popular up there, really popular up there. Yeah, New Hampshire loved that guy.
What's the other? Do we want to continue on Ukraine or go to a other topic?
Well, we have the EU plans to consolidate power, and we got New York's investigation of Trump.
Okay, so which one do we want to go on to? EU or Trump?
Let's do the Trump one because I feel like Dushon has more to say on that one, and he's been pretty quiet.
Oh yeah,
This is true.
I
This
want to
is
give him
true.
some time to say something.
So basically, I'm pretty sure all of this stuff started around the time when he first won the presidency in like 2017. Like there has been like investigations into like the whole
Everything.
Trump organization and stuff.
Yeah.
And some stuff just came out that they're trying to subpoena members of the Trump family to come testify.
Yeah.
And they even got like Trump's CFO of the organization to testify that there was like $200 million that was embezzled or something like that. Was lost.
I saw they tried to get who was it, Ivanka, to testify.
Yeah, Ivanka Trump.
My only thing about this is I'm only sad it doesn't happen more often to other politicians.
I don't know. For this, I kind of stopped paying attention just because I don't like Letitia James. Her I don't know, her main campaign point. Like it seems like she just goes after Trump a lot, and like not that it's. I just don't. She's not really that credible to me. Because this is like her main campaign thing. Remember when she was doing governor? She's like, I have prosecuted Trump 16 times. And I'm like, wait, that's your only thing for governor? Like, that's very weird.
And she just dropped out the race too.
Oh, yeah, no, she was doing horribly. But, like,
Yeah,
her,
she's
I don't
polling
know.
so far behind Kathy Hochul that she decided to run for re-election to AG.
Almost all of her, I feel like a lot of her, like, major prosecution stuff is all politically motivated for
Yeah, pretty
elections.
much.
Not even Trump, Cuomo, too. Like, after Cuomo, I kind of, like, I got, like, the report, like, valid, but then, like, she used it as an election, like, to, like, she's like, I was the guy who got, like, right after she did it, she, like, immediately ran for governor. So I was like,
And dude, honestly, at that point, it would have been, like, the end of your career if you didn't turn against him. Because, like, he was about to get impeached by the assembly.
Oh, yeah, he was done.
It almost never happens.
Especially in New York.
And it's all Democrats, too, so, like...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like, yeah, no, it's pretty heavily Democrat. Although I think our Senate's more evened out, our state Senate.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. I'm not in New York. I don't keep track of New York politics that much.
there's more Dems.
Yeah, but it's kind of evened out. Like, it's surprisingly not as big as you'd think of a gap. Wait, never mind, it is. 43 Democrats, 20 Republicans.
Dang, yeah, that's close.
$110,000 per year, plus per diem is what they get paid. They get paid a lot.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, they unanimously voted to raise their pay to $200,000 in the coming years.
How generous.
Completely unbiased decision.
Yeah, completely unbiased. We unanimously vote to give ourselves a raise to what was it, $220,000 in the coming years, and it increases every
Jeez.
year. On top of getting paid per diem, on top
I
of
think that makes
covered
them the
business
highest
expenses. Yeah,
state
the highest
government
paid
in the country.
state legislature in the country. But
Wow.
that's not all. They get paid per diem. So every session they show up, they get paid extra, and their business expenses are covered. If you
I
want to
can see
become
where
rich, become a
I
New
can
York State legislature.
I can see where all the tax money from New York City goes. Dang.
That's yes, that is why our taxes are high.
That's one of the many reasons.
Yes.
But going back to the whole investigation stuff, I think it's a good thing that they're really taking a hard look into Trump. The only thing I don't like is that it's more political than wanting to be like whatchamacallit, judicially active, you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I've
would
said this before.
agree.
Like, I
Like
think
someone's
I said around the time the investigation happened, the only reason they're looking into this stuff is because Trump is like a political enemy for them now.
Right.
yeah.
Like they were all too happy to ignore all of the stuff when it was actually happening, but as soon as he became a political
It,
enemy, suddenly they're concerned
it
about
was
corruption
because
and stuff.
he was a big donor to them. This man was donors.
Yeah. So they never looked into him,
They
and
were making all the money.
it wasn't until he became, like you said, a political enemy of him that suddenly they threw the book at him.
Yeah, that's the one reason I don't. Well, I don't like it because I just like they need to choose anybody else to investigate it because Letitia James is just making it look dumb. Because everyone who actually is either in the middle or just supports Trump, like what, like doesn't
No,
really
yeah,
help
I
with anything.
I think people would find this kind of investigation a lot more credible if it were to be done to other politicians who obviously need to be investigated. You know, like there's the Clinton Foundation, which everyone knows needs to be investigated, but isn't going to be investigated, will never be investigated. And just things like that. Like, they need to have a standard bar for everybody, not just their political enemies and then them.
Yes, but also like just someone like not Letitia James. If only Keith Wooford won that election for AG. Sad times.
For what state? New
For
York?
no, it was back in like 2018. It was Letitia James versus Keith Wooford, but he was running as a Republican, so he got his ass kicked.
Dang.
She was a lot more cool before. She originally got elected to the city council as a member of the Working Families Party, but then she joined the Dems and became corporatalized.
Hmm. Well, the last thing we got on here on the list is the EU trying to consolidate power.
I just don't think it's really gonna happen. I don't think many of the countries
I've
want to
heard
become
about
a
this.
federation yet.
I heard Macron was saying something about how they need to start building like an EU army because they want to be more independent of the US.
Right. Yeah. France has been spearheading that, and I think Germany's very recently, like since this last election, has joined the that camp of consolidating power. But the thing about the EU is every nation needs to agree on it. And
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
not happening.
that's not going to happen right now, especially with this whole Russia thing and the way that Germany's handling it. Not a chance. No, it's
Well,
not.
Poland and Hungary, like no way they're going for it. Honestly,
It's not going to
funniest
happen because,
thing,
like,
yeah.
if an EU army happened, then each of the states would probably have to contribute. And if I'm like Greece, I'm not contributing to that. Like we already broke. We ain't got no money for no defense forces.
Yeah.
It was it's like Hungary and Poland. They like ignore most of the EU stuff, but they kind of have this agreement where they'll always vote nay on any like measure to expel them.
Yeah.
So like they ignore all the immigration requirements and stuff, and then they get all the great trade deals.
Yeah, I think I forgot who it was, if it was the German or the French, but one of them said that if any EU member state sort of like is a roadblock to consolidation, they should be kicked out of the union. I think it was the new German chancellor who was saying that, which is why Macron.
Olaf Scholz, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Scholz.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
So,
guys, anybody who is against the consolidation of the union should be kicked out of the union.
right.
Like, what happens to your union then? Like,
I use the union to destroy the union.
We must kick people out of this union to make it more unified.
Right.
And I guess it works, but like, how many people are you gonna? It's gonna go from being the EU to like the France and German super state. Everyone
Yeah.
else
Western
is just gonna
Europe,
be gone.
Western
It's just,
European Union.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, that's all.
Yeah. So I don't think it's gonna, like you guys said, it's not probably not gonna happen, but the ball's definitely rolling. Like they're definitely pushing it in the next few years. So we'll see where that goes.
Definitely.
Yeah. But the whole Ukraine stuff has definitely put a big pause on that whole idea.
Oh yeah, that's well everything.
They
Everyone's
need to
focused on
get
Ukraine
they
now.
need to get like independence from relying on Russia, so they can't use it as a threat against them.
And
I don't know.
that's the complete opposite that Germany's been doing. If anything, they're becoming more reliant on Russia, which is why it's suddenly a lot harder for them to really, apply sanctions that actually hurt rather than just slap on the wrist type of sanctions.
So apart from that, I mean, not much else. Any other specifics we want to go into?
Uh,
Isn't there a fourth thing?
I don't think we had anything too.
yeah, no, we already covered four things.
Oh yeah, the Republicans outpacing the Dems.
Yeah,
Wait, did we cover that? I don't know if we covered that.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
we covered it a little bit, but I think we covered enough. I mean, if you want, we
Yeah.
can go more into it, but
I mean, I guess we could just do a quick little thing where, I mean, I believe you know more about it. So I guess Dush or Matt, do you want to
yeah,
I believe there was either
go on
a poll or something where like they asked people how they identified or what party they registered with, and
Yeah.
Republicans outpaced them by like 5 percentage points.
yeah,
And it's crazy because before that, the Dems used to have a lead of like 9 points back in like 2012, I think, and it's slowly like gone down. And now the Republicans have outpaced them.
yeah. I think this election cycle, the Republicans will finally be able to take over that mantle that the Dems have been holding so high and proud that, oh, we win the popular vote, therefore we should rule the nation and that whole jazz. But you're going to see very quickly that come this election, the whole idea of ending the electoral college will suddenly be nowhere to be found.
probably, yeah. Guys, you don't understand the Democrats. Guys, you don't understand. It is necessary. Absolutely.
Necessary. It's for our democracy that we keep
That
this.
happens every time.
That's
It's like
going to
the
be funny.
filibuster
Both
thing.
they're going to both switch sides and say, then the Republicans are like, "No, we got to get rid of it. We need
Yeah.
democracy." And Dems, "Oh, we need to keep the electoral college, you guys."
Like
That's
with
gonna
the
be
filibuster. Like when the Republicans take back the Senate, the Dems are going to be like, "No, the filibuster. It's necessary.
It's necessary to protect the minority. You can't do this to me.
Yeah.
and it's funny because the Democrats actually motioned to end the filibuster, but who was it? I think it was Manchin and
Manchin Cinema that killed it.
Yeah, so honestly, like those two have been the biggest obstacle to the Dems more than the
President Manchin.
Yeah, I think. Well, I feel like they're the most consistent in terms of like.
what they stand for. Yeah, no,
I
they hold
guess, yeah.
their values.
Yeah, honestly, 'cause anytime you see like Dems defecting, it's always them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're either the only ones or the ones leading the charge to defect from the party line.
Yeah. I mean, fine. I feel like okay. I'm gonna say something.
Because that's
Yeah.
not easy to do.
I'm gonna say something kind of gonna be controversial. Like, is it just me or like all these like weird like the Dems always start something, but then they suck at it, and then the Republicans do it, and then they're like, "Why would you do this?"
Yeah,
Like with the court thing, like it all started off with like Bork when they blocked Bork. It was kind of Bork's fault, anyways, because he was kind of dumb on the Roe v. Wade stuff.
yeah,
But like they started it, and then the Republicans did. And they're like, "Why would you do this?" And then they same thing with like they did the nuclear option with that one federal judge to pass Obama's through, and then when the Republicans did it rather
yeah.
successfully, they're like, "No, like, is it just me or that happens every time?"
The funny thing is, like, the Dems could have totally stopped it all 3
Yeah,
times.
no, they could have. They just started.
Like-
they just seem to be bad.
Like, what's her name? Amy Coney Barrett. Like, she got appointed like 2 months before the election. All you had to do was hold out for 2 months. They couldn't even do that.
Yeah,
Honestly, I was surprised because I was like, "Wait, they 100% just wanted her to pass. There's no way they did it. It couldn't have been that hard." Well, that and I think Mitch McConnell is just a genius. He cannot be. He is
Moscow
OP in the
Mitch.
Senate. He knows Senate procedure. It's crazy. He cannot be stopped.
yeah.
I think the
Schumer
Dems
should
kinda
resign.
suck at-
He is a failed leader.
The Dems kind of suck at procedure.
Yeah, well, I know Pelosi. She's gonna step down from leadership, which
Oh, yeah,
honestly,
Pelosi.
Thank God.
Pelosi's the complete opposite. She's like the political mastermind in the House.
Yeah,
Schumer
It's
needs to take
crazy.
notes.
It's horrible. Schumer has made New York look bad.
I
He's just
mean,
why? Why is he so bad?
He should resign.
It's
should.
not even that it's his policies. He's just bad. Like he can't even get his own policies through. Like what?
I've
Yeah,
been getting spammed by his ad recently. I'm just it's annoying. Like,
Oh,
wait, don't skip this video. Democrats need you.
yeah. Oh my god, I got so many Stacey Abrams ads last election. We
did you
just
really?
need to turn Kentucky around. Donate this. I'm like,
I'm
you're
gonna
not
vote
gonna
just for
take
that. I'm gonna
Kentucky.
vote Republican just for these annoying ads. Like, you're just
I
encouraging
get
me not to vote for you.
I got some from like Josh Hawley or whatever. I kept getting ads for his book. Like what?
Wow. Aren't you in New York though?
Yeah, I am.
What?
So I was getting ads for his book. So I was like, what the fuck? Not in your state.
Dang. I mean, hey,
Crazy.
you can never go too far away to promote your book.
True. Honestly, the Stacey Abrams ones were the most annoying because it's like we just need $5,000 more to flip Kentucky. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
Trying to get
Kentucky.
Mitch out?
They were, but it
Oh,
wasn't gonna happen.
you're not getting Mitch McConnell out.
Yeah, they were trying. They were like, we just need $5,000 more to the campaign so we can flip the state blue.
Imagine being gullible and falling for that. You're not getting Mitch McConnell out. This is a joke.
No, they did the same thing in Florida too for Gillum.
Genius. Stop the steal, Stacey.
It could have worked in his case. I think it was pretty close, but not close
Yeah.
enough.
Isn't
Not
she?
close.
She's running again, right?
She is.
Yeah, watch him
It's
lose
gonna
a
be.
second time.
Yeah. Imagine if she loses a second time and says it was rigged again.
Fraud to Russia.
No, she's running against the current governor Kemp and Purdue, who's challenging Kemp.
Okay, yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing I wanted to say from earlier when I was saying like the Dems always start stuff. Like they tried to object to the election in 2016, and then like they
Yeah.
couldn't get a senator on board. But then the Republicans did it, and it's like it seems like the Democrats end up like starting some like procedure or norm, but then the Republicans just seem to like do it better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny because like after the Republicans did it, they're like, "Oh, this is a threat to our democracy. We must Trump-proof the election certification process."
Yeah.
That was funny. Wasn't it like Klobuchar who was on board with the? I need to remember which House reps and senators were trying to overturn the
She
election.
was one of the ones who tried to object last time. I remember that.
Yeah,
It was
this
funny.
is
I saw the
this is
video
gonna
where Biden shut it down. It was hilarious.
this is gonna happen every election now, and I know
Yeah.
that it is because like 2016, it's like Russia rigged the election, and then 2020, it's like Biden rigged the election. Now Biden and the Democrats are like the Republicans. They're trying to rig the election. It's just gonna be this forever now.
Honestly, yeah, it probably will, and that's honestly so sad because it's just going to erode confidence on the system.
I can't wait till they start accusing China of rigging the election. Like the next time a Democrat wins the presidency, the China rigged the election.
They will never do that because both parties, they essentially need China. They're both in China's pocket.
So they both accuse China of rigging for each other.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen with Russia. The Republicans are going to be like, the Russians rigged the election for the Dems.
Because they wanted Biden to win again.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, they probably do. At this rate, if I was Putin, I'd want Biden to be president.
I guess, because he sucks at
Exactly.
foreign policy.
His foreign policy is probably the worst since Carter, if not even worse than
I'm
that.
sad, because I thought he was going to be awesome with foreign policy at least, but it turns out he's just trash.
This guy, he makes Carter look like a good president.
I thought he was going to be good because he said some awesome, like, he said some funny things. I was like, oh, okay, that's reasonable. Like, he was talking about the Middle East, and then he, like, did the exact opposite. I'm like, what the fuck?
Honestly, nobody's happy with Biden because, like, if you're a war hawk, like, he just pulled out of the wars. But, like, if you're a pacifist, he just left all the civilians and kids behind. So it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just making everybody mad.
So our viewers aren't going to know Brian, but you know Brian, right? Quick backstory.
It's a mutual friend of ours.
Obama simp.
Yeah, mutual friend, very big on Obama. I was talking to him, and he said, like, he no longer likes Biden. Like, he no longer likes him. And, like, in the beginning, he did. And then, like, in the beginning, he was holding out some stuff. And then he's like, it's just, I would say he's still, like, left and everything, but I don't think he really, like, trusts Biden or, like, gives him credibility anymore.
Well, that's good. It shows that he has some.
Why though? That doesn't make any sense. Like, what is he doing now that he didn't do
I think
before?
I think it's the foreign policy with Ukraine and Afghanistan because because it's different than how Obama, I think, handled it, and
Or is
he
he
really
saying
likes
he would
Obama.
prefer us to remain in Afghanistan?
I don't know. I don't know. I think he just doesn't like how Biden's handling it in terms of completely
Biden,
abandoning allies.
he just didn't use enough drone strikes on civilians,
This is true. He's got to break Obama's record of drone striking Arab weddings.
He did one last one at the end on that car. He before he
Yeah,
headed out.
guys.
He was like
360 no scope.
one for the road. One for the road, boys.
But you guys
yeah,
saw
Biden's
Biden's
doing too
last
good.
speech about Ukraine, where he said,
Oh, that was ridiculous. He gave Putin the go-ahead. Like, what the hell?
He essentially gave away Donbass for Ukraine at minimum.
Like, what the fuck? He sucks. Okay, so someone was like, what would you do if there was a minor incursion into Ukraine? And he's like, oh, we wouldn't really do anything. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he was like, oh, well, it depends. If it's a big thing, then we have no. He said if it's like a small minor incursion, we'd have to sit and debate about what we're gonna do. So essentially, they have no plan if it's a small minor incursion.
This is horrible.
This is what the Dems gave us.
They could have chosen others, just anybody, but no.
So yeah, Biden essentially wrote Ukraine's death letter.
Yeah. By the time this thing comes out, who knows what it's gonna be in the next week.
Oh yeah.
This video when we process it and everything, who knows? But yeah, I can't believe Biden. He is just. I feel bad for Ukraine. He has just left them.
Oh yeah, he left them high and dry.
Yeah. Interesting.
Day.
Yeah. Interesting fact about Ukraine on a little tangent. Their president originally was an actor and comedian who starred in a movie, and the character he starred as was a school teacher that accidentally became the president after he made an anti-government rant.
There you go. The full circle.
That's a little fun fact about Ukraine.
That's what you call foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, yes.
But yeah, that guy, he's not very good in the approval rating. Like last I heard, he wasn't doing pretty good.
Oh, what, Biden or Zelensky?
Zelensky,
he won in a landslide before, but I think he is going down because so the former president Poroshenko, they're charging him with high treason. Yeah. And they want to arrest him. And why they're doing it is because they say they have evidence that he supplied money to Russian separatists in Donbass through his coal mining company. And a bunch of Poroshenko supporters were protesting. A lot of stuff went down.
Well, we'll see what happens with Ukraine because like you said, by the time this video comes out, there's going to be a lot more.
I've been saying it. I'll say it again. R.I.P. Ukraine, 1991 to 2022. Remember to like and subscribe.
Don't forget to check out the official In the News Let's Play.
Yeah, Let's Play. Oh, we could do that.
We don't have that yet.
Yeah.
Coming soon, 2024.
Coming soon. We gotta get sponsored. We gotta get on a news channel.
Yeah, we do.
We gotta contact Fox News and ask if they had us on or MSNBC.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching.